Hey guys, once again, it's Chris. I wanted to highlight some, or almost all, of the cards that we've recently added to the cube. We've updated the cube, we've gotten rid of a lot of the junk that was inside the cube. It was a lot of trash that really nobody wanted to play. Basically a lot of artifacts that weren't all that fun. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a step-by-step on the cards here. Basically what's swapped in, and not really what's swapped out. Basically what's swapped out is crap and a farewell to temporal trespass, which was just winning games. If you don't know what temporal trespass is, I'm not going to pull it out, but it's a blue card that essentially lets you go an extra turn. It generally costs 8 and I think 3 blue, or 9 and 2 blue or something, but you can delve it. So by turn 6, we were delving into this temporal trespass, and you just immediately win the game. It wasn't fair. It's one of the mythic rares that was in the cube. I had to get rid of it. So without further ado, I just wanted to show you a lot of the Origins cards that were added to kind of make the deck, the cube not suck that much. So first one we have here is Magmatic Insight. This is a pretty cool card because it lets you discard a land and then let you draw 2 cards. So if you're running, say, an aggro red deck and it's going really into mid game and you don't really need all those mountains, this lets you draw. It's one of the very few draw abilities we have for red. Okay, right here we have Goblin Glory Chaser, which is a nice goblin. It's a 1/1 for 1. It's a 1-drop for aggros, and it also has Renown 1. You're going to notice a lot of Renown 1 because it's such a fun mechanic and ability, and really when you pick these up inside your pack and you're going through them, the Renown is kind of the big mechanic that you want to take a look at. Also, when this is renowned, it has Menace as well, so it's kind of tough to get rid of if you don't kind of deal with it for first off, so that's a pretty good card to add. And also the other one that we have for red is Pia and Kieran Nalaar, also known as Chandra's parents, aka Key and Peele. This lets you swamp the board with some Thopter tokens, so it's a 2/2 red for a 2/2, but really it also adds 2 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens, and you can also pay 2 in a red to sack and just deal 2 damage to target creature or player. So it's a very cool card, especially if you're trying to grab a lot of the artifacts that are in our cube. So that's an interesting one. Plus it's all foily. Look at that. Eee! If we go into white here, I only have 3 cards I've added to white. Top and Freeblade, 1 in a white for a 2/2 with Vigilance and Renown 1. This is a beast of a card. This is a pick 1 card right here. So needed to add it in order to sort of beef up the white set in the cube, but also that Vigilance really tears into opponents. We got Consul's Lieutenant, which is 2 white for 2/1 with First Strike and Renown 1, and if it attacks and it's renowned, other attacking creatures you control get 1/1 till the end of turn. I mean, look how many mechanics there are. Look at all those combat tricks for a 2 cost. So, pretty cool. And we also have Kythian's Irregulars for 2 and 2 white for a 4/3. It's Renown 1, and it also lets you tap target creature, so it kind of locks down the board state against your opponent there. So this also kills in drafts, makes white way more interesting in our draft aspect, so that's good to see. The blue side, I've added some Origins cards, but I've also added some other cards, well, maybe 1 card from another set, and you'll see why. Alright, we have Honored Iarch, which is 1 green for a 1/1 with Renown 1, and if it's renowned, it also lets you ramp with 1 mana of any color of your mana pool when you tap it. Pretty good card for a draft, not so great for constructed, so that's why it's in here. Somber Wolf Alpha, I mean, it's just like any other Alpha Wolf that you see in any other card game like Hearthstone, but when a creature you control becomes blocked, it gets 1/1 until the end of turn, and 1 in a green, target creature you control gains trample until the end of turn. So like 3 in a green for a 2/2, it makes all your creatures +1/+1, you know, when they become blocked when you attack. That's just a great card. Conclave Naturalist is a really sweet card. For 4 in a green, it's 4/4, but when it enters the battlefield, you can destroy target artifact or enchantment. So great for a side deck, maybe, you know, possibility if you're going up against artifact or enchantment deck in the cube. Now, Outland Colossus is just a bomb. We just needed bombs in the green deck, so this is the kind of the first one I've thrown in. It's 3 and 2 green for a 6/6 with Renown 6, so it can become a 12/12, and it can't be blocked by more than one creature. That's a crazy big bomb. And I also have added Genesis Hydra from Magic 15. It's X and 2 green, and when you cast it, you reveal the top X cards of your library. You may put a non-land permanent with converted mana cost of X or less, and then it also enters the battlefield with X/1/1 counters on it. This is another I win card if you play it mid to late game. So that's green, that's white, that's red. For blue, I've added Whirler Rogue to kind of spice up more of the Thopter mechanic that I've added for just a couple of the cards here. But for it's a 2/2 for 2 and 2 blue. When it enters the battlefield, just put 2 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creatures into the battlefield. And if you tap 2 untapped artifacts you control, creatures can't be blocked this turn. So it is 2 and 2 blue, but it's effectively 4/4, right? 4/4 with Thopters. I mean, you go red-blue with this and Key and Peel, like, you're just going to slay with these Thopters. I mean, those are 1/1 flyers that they're going to have to deal with come turn 4, turn 5. And we don't really have a whole lot of creatures with reach in order to combat that. Just letting you guys know that. Also, Jessian Thief, which is 1/3, and it costs 2 and a blue. This has prowess, and also when it deals combat damage, you draw a card. So this is sick for card draw, anything that you're trying to grab out of your deck, especially if you're running into the mid-game. And, I mean, this card will slay if it's not dealt with very quickly. It's not going to deal with a whole lot of damage, but, I mean, you add prowess to it on a control deck involving blue, man. That's fantastic. Now, the only other blue card I added is a staple in everyone else's cube but ours, and I added it. So here you go, Delver's Secrets. It's a 1/1/1 drop, and at the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card. If it's an instant or sorcery, you transform this, and you're going to have to do this when you play, so be very careful with the card when you're playing the cube. You flip it over into its Insectile Aberration, and now it's a 3/2 flyer. So by turn 2, you can have a 3/2 flyer. Hell yeah, sign me up. This would be a first pick in a lot of packs that you'll draft for the cube. So just letting you know that. Only got one gold card. Oh, actually, hold on. I forgot about the black. I've got an Eyeblight Massacre. It's 2 and 2 black. It's non-elf creatures get -2/-2 until the end of turn. It's basically a poor man's Languish. Languish will just wipe the board with -4/-4. Yeah, I'm not really going to add a Languish into the cube. The cube's not really that expensive. So instead, we're going to do an Eyeblight Massacre. There's not a whole lot of elves in this in this cube. So yeah, that's pretty much just going to wipe a lot of things, especially by turn 4. Trust me. Just trust me. I also have Read the Bones, which is 2 and a black. Scry 2, draw 2 cards, you also lose 2 life. So this is a really powerful card draw, especially for a black deck that does not have card draw. Let's move over to the gold. I'm going to start with just one addition into something besides Azorius, which is blue-white. This is Zendikar Incarnate. This is 2 red-green for a star 4, and its power is equal to the number of lands you control. Pretty cool. It's replacing the Rox Brute. The Rox Brute was the same cost, 2 and a red and a green, and the Rox Brute was 4/4. So this is actually strictly better, because you're going to drop it when you have 4 lands anyway. It's already going to be a 4/4, and it can ramp. That's pretty cool. Now, moving aside from all of the origin cards that we added, we completely forgot about Azorius cards, white and blue. We screwed up, I apologize. So, now we filled that role, and let me show you just the rundown of some of these sweet cards. Thunderclap Wyvern, 2/3 flash flyer. Other creatures you control with flying gets 1/1. Pretty cool card. We have Brago King Eternal, 2 white, blue, 2/4 flyer. When it deals combat damage to a player, you can exile any number of target non-land permanents you control, then return them back. So if you have cards that have when this enters the battlefield controls, or cards that are locked down with enchantments, or, pacifism, arrest, stuff like that, this is what you play in order to kind of clean out your board side. That's fantastic. Detention Sphere, when it enters, you may exile target non-land permanent not named this, and all other permanents with the same name as that. When it leaves the battlefield, you return the exiled card. Basically, it's just an enchantment that just takes out something that you really don't like on the battlefield. Pretty good for a cube like this. Judge's Familiar, which looks fantastic, by the way. You can play as a white or a blue. It is a 1/1 flyer, and when you sacrifice it, you can counter a target instant or sorcery spell unless the controller pays 1. So it's also a counter. So you have this little 1/1 flyer that'll peck out by turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, all that jazz. And if you really want to take out some card mid-game, you'll play this bad boy. Pretty good. Absorb. This is another staple in a lot of cubes. It's a white and 2 blue, and you counter a target spell, and you also gain 3 life. So, I mean, we're talking about removal here, and we're also talking about life gain. That's pretty big in a 40-card deck. So, we also have Plume Veil, which is a combination of 3 white or blue. It's a 4/4 with flash, and it's a defender, and it's flying. I mean, that pretty much is a first pick card once again. I mean, I'm turn 3, 4/4 flash defender flyer. That's sick. That's a pretty sick. Plus, I mean, look, it's foily. I had to get it. And last but not least, the most important addition or update to the cube, the most important card in the entire cube, Bottle Gnomes, is now foiled. I mean, that's all I've got. Is Bottle Gnomes the greatest card ever? I mean, just read that flavor text. Literally, it's flavor. It's refreshments. It's the best card ever. All right, so there you go. There's the update to the cube. Let me know if you have any other cards that you think coming out of Origins should be added to the cube. I'm totally all ears about that. I will also, once again, post the cubetutor.com address on the bottom of this video down below. I'll also have it posted on the Facebook group, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.